Hey everybody, Matt here with Angry American Dads. Just figured I'd come out and do a quick little video, little gardening, little prep advice. I was down here checking on our little mini orchard or mini fruit tree, little group of fruit trees that we got here. And the other day I'd come out and I'd done up chips around all of them. And if you notice, they're caged off. Keep the deer out, especially the deer are the worst ones right now. Then come closer to wintertime, I get some hardware cloth and I use that and some zip ties, and I'll put loose little cages around the bases of them to keep the rabbits away and the shrews and stuff like that, to keep them from ringing them. But I wanted to bring this up because one of the things that we do to cage our trees to keep the deer away, and we can make them bigger, smaller, and the other purpose behind this is we make our tomato cages out of this, and it's just concrete wire mesh. We buy a couple rolls, have it sitting around. It works awesome for that. And in our case, we can make our tomato cages and our fruit tree cages as big or as small as we absolutely want. That's super handy, it makes life nice. And we've even gone so far as some of our massive, huge tomato plants that we've had, we didn't go tall with them, we went wide. And we were able to make multiple rings around them to support the massive amount of tomatoes that we were growing on them out of our beds, believe it or not. And I've also built mobile A-frame trellises for cucumber, squash, different things like that to go over the beds that we can move. That way, if we decide to change beds, we're not having to move a whole bunch of cattle panel around and everything else. I literally take them up, fold them into an A-frame, lean them up against the woodshed, and they're ready for it next year, wherever we decide to put them. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, for those of you that were in the military, specifically, I would say Army, Marine Corps, SALM, I'm sure if you were something in the Navy, like a CB in the Navy, you're familiar with HESCO barriers. HESCO barriers are a folding, it's usually 4 sides, made out of a grid, a metal grid pattern that is very similar to cattle panel, a little heavier, folds flat. But you can open them up, they make a giant cube, and inside is a reinforced heavy bag that we use a loader and fill. And you take these and you fill them off and you cap them off and you put them, double them up, and then you put another single on top. So you've just created a castle wall around your fob for protection. Well, as much as I would love to have a whole bunch of those sit in my Connex box in case something crazy kicked off, or to use them for whatever reason, they're awfully damn expensive. So we started experimenting, and we came up with these deals where we would use concrete wire mesh, make small cylinders, and use leftover grain bags from feeding the livestock that we have. And we would fill those with sandbags, and we could stack them in accordingly. And we also use smaller sandbags to fill in gaps, or depending on how big we made it, how we would stack it. And we could fill that off and top it right off the top, make it level. So you have a poor man's HESCO barrier. So you could make them as small or pretty much as big as you want, depending on the number of bags you have to fill them. That's a really good way to stop bullets. Just a little tip. So that's one of those things. That's my tip for today. Concrete wire mesh, one of my favorite things for gardening and for preparedness. I like as much multi-use stuff as I can possibly handle. So it's one of those that if you like that idea, or if you'd like to see more about the idea with the poor man's HESCO barrier, smash the like button and shoot me a comment saying, hey, show us a demonstration, and we'll put together a video and put it up sometime. Like I always say, all the dads out there, keep your head up. You're not alone.